Who's that?
It's a camera. I don't know.
What are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
Hey, why is there a camera?
I don't know.
Guys, it's time! What? For what?
Podcast.
Podcast? What podcast?
Carpool Podcast!
Hello, welcome to another episode of Carpool Podcast. And today we are here with Alex. Can you please introduce yourself in a couple of words?
Sure. Hi everyone, I'm Alex. I'm 21. I'm a junior at LCC, majoring in comm. I lead a yoga club, and I've been vegan for the last 5 years.
Amazing. So as you guys understood today, our conversation will be centered around veganism. Barb, how do you understand veganism? What do you know about it?
So let's be honest, veganism is just the lifestyle when you exclude all the animal produced products and follow this worldview.
Do you agree?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's some people limit it to the dietetic limitation, but it's more than just your food, because then you would simply call it plant-based diet. Being vegan is simply to try to avoid as much as you can the animal exploitation in all your life spheres.
Okay. And how did it all started for you? Like, how did you came to that decision?
My parents became vegetarians when I was about 7 years old. They did it because of their religious beliefs. So they excluded all animal products except for milk and whole dairy products, and they still have eaten in some proportion maybe eggs, but in desserts, and that's it. But for 3 years since they joined this whole vegetarian movement, I was still eating animal products. And then when I was about 11-12 years old, I excluded red meat from my diet because I understood that it's a part of the live creature. And then I gradually excluded products, and by the age of 15 I stopped eating all animal products. So
Okay, so it was more of a gradual change, not that at one point you just turned around. Okay.
So was it more cultural for you or religious?
for me it was neither cultural or religious, because my parents, as I said, they eat milk and cheese, and for them it's like a big part of the culture, because they are the religious in the Hindu group, and for Hindu people the milk is like a holy product. And when I said to them that I'm gonna exclude it, it was more like a challenge for them rather than a cultural approval thing. So for me it was simply because I really enjoyed and loved animals, and I wanted to do something more than simply saying about it, but actually doing something for the animals. So it's really simple.
Okay, and so since then for 6 years?
5 years.
5
It will be 6 in May, in next May.
Okay, you're gonna celebrate it?
Yeah, I will.
The moment that changed my life.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay, so you have this background, and so it wasn't like a sudden change for you. It was more of a gradual decision, thought through decision for you. Okay, amazing. Do you know that there is a lot of stereotypes and assumptions about veganism, especially if it is the decision made in a young age? And there's a lot of parents who panic, who say that you're gonna faint, you're gonna lose a lot of weight, you're gonna be unhealthy after that. What do you think about that? Because as you said, your parents are kind of more to that side, and how do they see it, and how do you see it from your perspective when you when your parents did not push you with those stereotypes?
So first of all, I always say that despite if you're young or you're more already mature, you should prepare yourself with lots of knowledge. I mean, at least enough of knowledge, so you will have the basic understanding that you see from, for example, American Association of Dietetics and Nutrition. Plant-based diet, which is planned accordingly, can be safe for all stages of life, including pregnancy and lactation and infancy. So it's safe for all stages of life. And when you know such facts that are backed up with the science and research and many other organizations throughout the world, you will feel more safe. simply for yourself at the first point. And then you really softly explain it to your parents. So I would really recommend for everyone who would like to become more kind of, I don't know, plant-based, to introduce their surroundings slowly to this and say, you see, it's safe. There is plenty of research that supports it, and have a lot of patience, because sometimes we live in those beliefs, and it's okay. And I don't want people to feel kind of pushed to believe to something, but I want them to simply understand that sometimes behind our beliefs we don't have a logical argumentation. And when we do have this logical argumentation supported by science, for example, we feel much more comfortable. So yeah.
So talking about fainting and feeling unhealthy, how do you make sure that you're meeting all the nutritious needs that you need?
First of all, I always bring the example that you can follow any diet and be healthy or be unhealthy. So I don't say that people who are eating animal products, they're not healthy. That's my deep belief. I think all people can follow a plant, not just plant-based diet, but any type of diet. If it's planned accordingly, you can be safe. But in terms of plant-based diet, you should be familiar that, for example, B12 vitamin is really something that you need to take artificially as a supplement, because previously we drank water from the open sources and it was naturally fertilized with the not with supplements, but with microorganisms that contain the B12 supplement. And now we drink water that is filtrated, so we need to take the supplement additionally. Same goes with D3 vitamin. It's simply for all of us who live in Lithuania. It's not only for people who don't eat animal products, but for all of us. And there are apps that allow you to track all of your nutrition. For example, there is app Daily Dosing. You simply open it and you see that you need to eat, for example, beans, you need to eat lentils, you need to eat some greens, some fruits, and you simply log it in, and it allows you to keep track and keep eye on, is your diet balanced. But it doesn't take you so much time, actually. When you learn the basics, you do it pretty easily. So
is there some kind of planning like coming to that, like to this, for example, if someone is transitioning from eating meat and animal products to veganism, like is there a plan, or can it be just like, I don't know, like how long this plan should be, because like, and can it affect health in a way that if tomorrow I start eating animal products, how it's gonna...
Yeah, so the thing is, it really depends on your diet that was before your transition to the plant-based food. For example, if you had a lot of food that was high in fiber, most probably you will feel okay. Like you already had some kind of a lot of salads or beans, for example. But if your diet was primarily consisted of like animal-based proteins and some simple type of carbohydrates, and you didn't add so much fiber, I would simply recommend to people, first of all, start with vegetables that are prepared somehow. They can be boiled, or they can be stewed, or they can be baked. So don't so much insist on raw food, but rather something that was already kind of prepared, heated with some way. Second of all, if you introduce beans and you've never eaten them before, there are some type of beans that are easily to digest. And for example, red lentils and chickpea, you simply can eat them and you will feel okay. But if you will eat, for example, black beans, they have a lot of fiber, and it's pretty hard to digest, and it takes some time for your microbiome to redevelop it in order to digest it properly. So I would say, like, you should know there are some types of food that you should introduce a bit later. And for example, if we're talking about beans, you should soak them in water and you should boil them for enough time so they're really, really well cooked, and then you will feel okay. So, and I generally say that if you do something really like in one moment decision, for some people it works out, but for someone it doesn't, because you don't have enough time to actually find enough alternatives that work for you. I mean, for me, it took a long time in order to understand, okay, I'm ready to give up cheese, for example, and yogurts, because I know that for me, that's not my priority main product right now. So I always say take your time, and it's better to do something than not to do anything at all. And there's no such thing as being perfect. It's the thing of doing at least some steps that introduce you toward this goal.
It also comes with a lot of research before that, right?
I mean,
So-
I would say enough of research, because I wouldn't say that you need to read like tons of things in order to be knowledgeable, especially nowadays. Like
Yeah.
you can just download app, that's it you need to do, and follow the instructions there, because it was supervised by the doctors that are certificated in the United States as proper specialists that can help to plan the diet. So you don't need to do so much. Nowadays it's much easier, but I would say you just need to have a lot of information. If someone will come to you and say, oh, you're eating not enough protein, or you're eating too much fiber, you're eating too much sugar, you would say, no, I have backup. Here's my proofs. I eat enough. So you need to simply to have some argument for yourself, first of all.
So since we talk about ingredients, what's your to-go meal?
I really enjoy tofu in all variations. And I think it's such a popular vegan answer, and but I mean, if you use the tofu that was, for example, if you're in Klaipėda, there is one tofu that is already marinated in soy sauce, and it tastes delicious. You need just to fry it with some beans and bell peppers or tomatoes, and maybe add some parsley, basil, something that veggies of your choice, and you simply season it all together with some olive oil, fry it for a couple of minutes, and it's good to go. And if you add some brown rice to it, you receive like a full nutrient plate. So it's a really good meal.
And do you feel full after eating this meal?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I've been I'm exercising almost every day, and I have friends who are athletes, professional athletes, and they're following the plant-based diet. And you can watch the movie, it's called The Game Changers, about the famous people who are into sports and they follow plant-based food. Some of them you might know, like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Serena Williams. They're following the plant-based food, and they feel really nutritious and good, and feel kind of stuffed, full after eating it. So
That's nice.
Yeah, especially with like how much training they get, right? I feel like this is like the most like concerning thing for many people. Like if I exercise, or if I am really active, will be enough for me. But that's good to hear that you actually can manage to Okay. So is there anything else? I know that some people are talking about lab-grown meat right now. What are your thoughts on that?
So there is two things that you need to keep in mind. There are some meats that are they are known as lab grown, but they are not lab grown actually. Like for example, Beyond Meat. It's an alternative, plant-based alternative to a regular meat, for example, but it's not lab-grown meat. It's simply it's a high processed food, and it was received from the soya, I believe, or pea protein, and then it was infused with herbs and spices, and then they created something like a patty. But it's more like a regular production. It's not artificial meat. It's just a substitute. But there is also lab-grown meat, which is really expensive for this moment, and they use the actual animal protein in it, and it's similar from the DNA perspective to the animal meat, but it doesn't require any sacrifices. So my thought on this, that for now we have so much already sources that we can use, and we can optimize and use them. But if this invention will help people to transition from killing animals, and they will feel kind of good eating this lab-grown meat, I'm up to it. I mean, if animals don't suffer, that's great. But for now, I'm just saying that there are already alternatives that we all can use, even in small cities, even in the villages, and we don't need to wait until this future moment. So,
also speaking about like alternatives, for me, in my mind, usually like when you come to the shop and you see like plant-based products, they're more expensive. Is there any way like how people can manage that? Because I feel like I know some people like that this factor stops them actually from transitioning to a plant-based diet.
So I always say that if we're talking about high processed food,
Mm-hmm.
such as, I don't know, patties, sausages, cheese, yogurts, milk, it all requires some kind of like a factory work, and it might be more costly comparing to the more to the animal products, for example, partially because the animal products, they are partially substituted by the government, so the government pays some part of the product price for the people, and they support by this the animal product production and make these products more affordable for people. And it doesn't work like that with vegan products yet. But those highly processed food, they are not the main core of your diet. So for example, beans, I don't know, any type of grains, cereal, pasta, vegetables, fruits, oil, it all costs the same. We all buy it, despite if we're eating meat or not. And that's the primary core of your diet. So you can't eat, I don't know, like 1 pack of vegan cheese per week, which will be kind of healthy, because those products are also not super healthy. They're healthier in terms that they don't increase the risks for cancer, some types of cancer, or cardiovascular diseases, or type 2 diabetes, because there's also research that shows that animal products that were highly processed are more and they have higher health risks compared to the plant-based alternatives. But it still doesn't make plant-based alternatives like a super healthy food that you need to consume every day. So to make this clear, those products, you can buy them as treats, for example, as, I don't know, a chocolate bar or something, but it's not the core of your diet. I mean, the core things, they're really, really affordable, and a pack of beans costs about, I don't know, around €1 for 80 grams, and it will be for you enough for the whole week to eat. So actually, like, plant-based food can be even more affordable.
Okay,
So
that's amazing. That is actually like something, I guess, like people need to understand, because it's usually like their like assumption and their perception is based on, you know, those like fancy like milk replacements that they see in the shops, and like, okay, this is more expensive, I'm not spending more money on that. Okay. What do you think?
Do you have any advice for people who want to change their lifestyle into like becoming vegans? Like, what's the first thing they should do and like pay attention to?
The last words of encouragement. You can look at the camera.
I would say, first of all, kind of try to reduce the amount of inner, I don't know, guilt, shame, anything that makes you feel like, you know, oh, this whole movement, it's so, I don't know, they're so hypocritical, they receive so much hatred. No, I mean, it's all about your journey, and it's about your moral choice to support or not support the animals in the way you can to support them. Second of all, research. There is plenty of films, videos, journals, Instagram blogs about veganism, about people who follow this diet, and you can be inspired by this, and by this it can be already first step. And third of all, introduce some new products to your diet already. So even if you're not planning to go vegan completely, but introduce to your diet some tofu or some beans, and try to add some meals that are plant-based, or maybe you can substitute some animal products with vegan alternatives. For example, if you're using the regular meat, try to use the soya meat, which can be prepared a little bit more in time, but the taste will be also great. And the final piece of advice would be reach out to people who already follow this, because might be they already overcome the things that you're facing right now, and it will be for you so much easier simply to talk with them about it, and it will not take you so long. Because when I went vegan, no one in my surrounding was vegan. There are some people who were vegetarian, but it's different. And I should admit that it doesn't make any easier to transmit to the vegan diet, because vegetarianism and veganism is different things. So yeah, reach out to people, surround yourself with inspiration, watch movies, and try vegan food already. It's good.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for inviting.
That was really fun and really interesting and informative.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.